This presentation analyzes the responses of Toledo residents who participated in the community visioning assessment process. The information in the following slides is intended to inform the Toledo Visioning Committee and design team during the design process. We conducted virtual community focus groups, interviewed Hispanic residents, and sent a random sample survey to 260 Toledo households. The quantitative data collected from survey responses complement the qualitative information gathered from the focus groups and interviews. Different transportation users have different needs and priorities. Older adults want access to local services. Active recreationists want to be challenged while engaging in physical activity. Parents are concerned for the safety of their children. People with mobility issues need smooth surfaces and safe traffic crossings. Youth want complete sidewalks and safe crossings. We conducted focus groups with people from most of these different demographics to obtain a complete picture of the transportation system in Toledo. Most user types travel around Toledo by driving. Youth and active recreationists bike and walk to places such as Cherry Lake Trail. Youth occasionally ride skateboards and golf carts. Focus group participants were asked what they consider community assets, and they identified places connected with outdoor recreation and natural areas. Toledo Heights is popular among youth because of the ball field and the playground. Adults appreciate the park as well as Cherry Lake and the South Tama Rec Trail because it is a safe place to walk. Residents also enjoy natural areas when boating along the Iowa River. During the focus groups, participants also identified undesirable features in town, such as incomplete and poor sidewalks, heavy traffic, poor pedestrian connections, flooding and drainage issues, and winter weather barriers. Adults identified several destinations that are difficult to access because of poor pedestrian connections, including Toledo Heights, the schools, the rec trail, the pool, and the business district. Finally, focus group participants had the opportunity to tell us what changes they want in Toledo. Residents would like to replace trees lost in the 2020 derecho in Toledo Heights Park and along the trail. Parents and actives want the trail to be paved. Parents would like to use strollers on the trail, which is currently not possible when the trail is wet. Residents want a complete sidewalk system throughout town that is wide enough for side-by-side walking and provides access to Toledo Heights, the Aquatic Center, and the schools. Highway 63 needs to be safer for pedestrians. 64 Toledo residents completed the random sample survey. Understanding what types of improvements are important to residents gives the Visioning Committee insight into how to prioritize projects. The information summarized here includes respondents' willingness to help, their enhancement priorities, their preferred commuting, walking, and biking routes, and qualities and features considered important during those activities. More than 52% of survey respondents answered that they are willing to help with the visioning process, whether this be volunteering time, money, or both. How do we get people to help? According to an ISU study of Iowa's small towns in 2014, the most common reason residents said they didn't become involved in community projects is that no one asked them. Others indicated that they didn't know how to become involved. These results show that the best way to get people involved in community projects is to simply ask them, along with advertising opportunities through traditional and social media outlets. On a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the most important, participants in Toledo ranked improving night use as most important. Other types of enhancements that address pedestrian mobility, health, and safety are also considered important, such as creating safer routes to school and providing better pedestrian connections. In terms of quality of the built environment, survey respondents consider better neighborhood streetscapes as important, followed by enhanced seasonal beauty and habitat for birds and pollinators. Most survey respondents drive to important destinations such as a convenience store, post office, school, and church. More than 17% carpool or ride with someone else. More than 23% indicated that they walk, and more than 6% bike to their destinations. This map shows the commuting routes identified by 27 survey respondents. The frequency that the routes are used is depicted by their width, with most frequently used routes being the thickest. The primary commuting corridor in Toledo is Highway 63 South, which connects people with US 30 business and US 30. Commuters travel both east and west out of town on US 30. Some people travel north on Highway 63 out of town, while others go south into neighboring Tama. On a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the most important, survey participants ranked the characteristics and features that factored into their choice of commuting route. Among Toledo participants, time to destination is the most important factor. Avoiding weather-related issues such as snow and ice is also considered important. This map shows the walking routes identified by 32 survey respondents. The most popular place to walk in Toledo is Toledo Heights Park. People also walk the South Tama Recreation Trail, presumably to Cherry Lake in Tama, and in Woodlawn Cemetery. City streets that walkers frequent include Main Street and State Street in the downtown area, Church Street and Ross Street to Mill Street, Ross Street to Toledo Heights Park, and Vine Street. On a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the most important, survey participants ranked the characteristics and features that make their walking experience better. These features are categorized as either connections or conditions and elements. The most significant influencer on people's walking patterns is safety, particularly relative to crossing Highway 63 and US 30 business. Good sidewalks are also important to walkers. This map shows the biking routes identified by 10 survey respondents. The South Tama Rec Trail is the most popular biking venue. Some riders also bike in Toledo Heights Park and Woodlawn Cemetery. Cyclists also ride on city streets, most frequently on Main, State, and Broadway in the downtown area, Ross Street, Church Street, Vine Street, Elm Street, Harrison Street, and K Avenue. On a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the most important, survey participants rank the characteristics and features that make their biking experience better. These features are categorized as either connections or conditions and elements. Among Toledo participants, access to trails is most important. In terms of conditions and elements, seasonal beauty is the most important to cyclists. This map shows the out-of-town biking routes identified by 10 survey respondents. Both in town and out of town, the South Tama Rec Trail is the most popular route for cyclists. Some people bike the trail into Tama to access the trail at Cherry Lake. Some cyclists take 310th Street east out of town and go west on 300th Street. One person indicated that they bike at Tama County Lake Park. On a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the most important, survey participants also rank the characteristics and features that make their out-of-town biking experience better. In terms of connections, access to natural areas is most important. In terms of conditions and elements, little vehicular traffic is most significant. In Tama and Toledo, 34.6% and 14.2%, respectively, of the populations are Hispanic. The Tama and Toledo Visioning Committees recognize the importance of engaging with this substantial group of residents. To capture the transportation behaviors, needs, and desires of this demographic group, the ISU research team conducted an interview with 2 members of the Hispanic community, one from Tama and the other from Toledo. Members of the Hispanic community walk and bike for recreation. Safety is the primary factor affecting their choice of walking and biking routes. Hispanic residents like Toledo Heights Park because there is no traffic, the drive is paved, and the park layout allows parents to keep an eye on their kids. Interviewees also identified Cherry Lake and the South Tama Rec Trail as both safe and scenic places to go. Tama and Toledo focus group participants and survey respondents also value these recreation venues for similar reasons. The absence of sidewalks and designated pedestrian crossings throughout Tama and Toledo is the most significant barrier to Hispanic residents in the two communities. Specifically, interviewees cited the Highway 63 corridor, from which people access Fairway and Dollar General in Toledo and the elementary and high schools in Tama, as particularly hazardous for pedestrians. One interviewee shared that they had seen parents pushing a stroller through the grass, trying to manage kids, and carrying groceries along Highway 63. Interviewees also talked about frequent car accidents at the entrance to the high school. Focus group participants in both Tama and Toledo share this view, particularly parents and older adults. Hispanic residents would benefit most from additional sidewalks and controlled pedestrian crossings, according to interviewees. Specifically, they would like sidewalks along the Highway 63 corridor to provide better pedestrian access to the Toledo Business District and the elementary and high schools in Tama. These suggestions are consistent with the priorities expressed by focus group participants and survey respondents. Interviewees said that a bus or taxi service would be beneficial to Hispanic residents, many of whom do not drive. Finally, Hispanic residents would like the South Tama Rec Trail to be paved, a view expressed by participants in the Toledo Parents and Active Focus Groups. If you have any questions about this presentation of the community visioning process, contact the members of your local visioning committee or check us out on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. A complete set of assessment presentation boards can be found on the Toledo Visioning webpage at www.communityvisioning.org/Toledo.